greatest round ever shot in the history of the U.S. Senior Women's Open, courtesy of Leta Lindley, your champion at Fox Chapel.
Oh, so proud of you. You worked so hard for that. Oh my gosh.
You know, sometimes I wake up and I forget, you know, I have to do laundry, go to the grocery store, do all the things that I normally do. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I achieved this. And my husband jokingly one morning said, "Good morning, Major Champion." And I said, okay, now you have to greet me that way every morning.
At what point for you, though, did you really feel confident, like, hey, I keep doing what I'm supposed to do the right way here, and that trophy that you see right behind you is yours?
I probably didn't feel that way until 18, to be honest. You know, when I was interviewed Saturday night, I said, I think I'm going to need some help from the leader. You know, I was 5 shots back. I don't know that I teed it up that morning saying, okay, let's go win this. My husband said, listen, you're not playing Julie Inkster, Annika Sorenstam, or, you know, the country of Japan. You're just playing Fox Chapel today. So let's just go out and play our best. You know, let's take one shot at a time. And I just really got off to a hot start, which I was like, oh, okay, well, this is great. Let's just keep it going. So, you know, I've really been able the last couple of years to get lost in my round and not really realize how many under par I am, which is a nice place to play, because sometimes you can have an uh-oh moment. Oh my gosh, I'm about to have my personal best, or oh my goodness. And so I really don't think I knew. I mean, even the other day, I think I saw the scoreboard and I said, I shot 7 under. My husband's like, yeah, you shot 7 under. So I guess on 17, Mike McGee, Annika's husband, who was caddying for her, turned to my husband and said, is Leta enjoying this yet? And then my husband told me that on 17 after I hit my shot. I'm like, no, I'm not enjoying this yet. The horse isn't in the barn yet. I'm not done. 18 still a tough hole. There's water on the right, bunkers on the left. So it's a tight drive. And then you have to carry water on your second shot. So, you know, things could go wrong. You know, you don't want to pull a Jean Van de Velde. So, you know, I just kept grinding. And I think the look on my face was one of determination through the whole round. It was just really gritty. And I'm just super proud of the way that I played. I don't think anybody tees it up on Sunday thinks I'm going to go shoot 7 under at a USGA championship, you know, the way they set up the golf course. So it was quite an achievement, and it's a cherry on top of my Sunday for sure.
You talk about how helpful your husband was there throughout the process, and he always been on the bag for you, very helpful. I did read about what happened on the third round on Saturday. What was it, the rain? What was the mix up? How did you get the 11 and the 7 mixed up there in the bag?
Well, I think what happened, well, one, we're on the other side of 50, so our eyesight isn't as good. And that comes out one time a year now to caddy for me for this championship. And I have the same warm up that I've always had. And I go through my irons, and then I hit my 11 wood, and then I hit my 7 wood, a couple 5 woods, 3 woods. And I think what happened was he didn't immediately, you know, put the 11 wood head cover on, and he switched the 2. So when I got off to a hot start on Saturday, I birdied the first hole. Number 2 is a birdieable par 5, and I had an awkward third shot with a wedge, and I ended up chunking it, and I bogeyed. And I'm like, that's okay. You know, we're still even par for the day. We're going to go to 3. We got some tough holes coming up. We got to grind it out. And we discussed, I think I had 159 to the pin, and we wanted to be short of this pin. You don't want to be above it. So we're like, let's just hit 11 wood and hit it good. And so I just pull the 11 wood. I see the head cover. I pull out the 11 wood. I tee it up and I hit it, and I'm watching this thing, and it's flying really low. Not like my 11 wood, which goes really high, and it's going over the pin. And I'm like, what is it? I can't believe this. What is going on? I almost hit the cameraman. I'm so lucky that it was soft. Otherwise, it could have been bounding over the green into the fescue. And I look down at my club, and it says 7. I did have a few choice words to say to my husband, and he's like, oh my gosh, Leta, he's looking at it. He's looking at the head cover, and he's like, I don't know what to say. I am so sorry. That's all I can say. Obviously, he would never do that on purpose. And probably in all the years he caddied for me, which was 17 years on tour, we've maybe had 5 disagreements. And it was mostly like our first couple of years on tour when we were trying to figure out, you know, what works best for us. And I was pretty hot. I'm not going to lie. You know, I was lucky to even just 3 putt that hole and walk away with a bogey. And thankfully, we got up and down on 4, and then the horn blew. We had a weather delay for, I don't know, maybe 2 hours. I'm not quite sure. So at least I had some time to go down in the locker room and kind of process this. And I came back up and I found Matt in hospitality. He goes, listen, just say what you need to say to me. Just get it out and just say it. And he said to me, he goes, listen, this is going to be part of the story. This is going to be part of the story, which for me at the time, I'm like, I've lost this championship twice by 1 stroke. So, every mistake, that could have been the difference. Every bogey, every missed club, that can be the difference between winning this and finishing second again. But at that point, there was nothing we can do. I think that time, I was able to cool off, and then we went back out. And I had like a tough 2-putt, which I made. And then I grinded the rest of the way on Saturday. I mean, Saturday was just a grind on every level. And to walk away even par, I'm like, okay, we did it. We didn't shoot ourselves in the foot. Maybe we have a chance at this championship.
That's it is incredible. It's obviously now part of the story. That was prophetic of him in the moment. Even if he was trying to clean up a mistake there.
Yeah.
For you now, you obviously you instruct out here in Jupiter in Palm Beach County. You have your motherly duties, which is what brought you away from the tour in the LPGA back in the day. Like looking back on your whole journey with golf, each of those steps, which I'm sure were hard to take at the time, like when you left the tour, I heard even getting you back. I was talking to our guy Steve Policiner. He said getting you back and playing on the Legends tour took some convincing and whatnot. When you look at each of those major decisions you made around golf, which one of them was the most impactful to you today? Which one do you feel like is the most fulfilling, especially now that you've experienced what you had on the Post-it notes? What your major goal was to bring that trophy back home.
Every season has been so special. And, I accomplished some amazing things when I was on tour, which was, winning after having 2 children and being, 14 years on tour with my husband on the back. I mean, I thought that was a pretty cool accomplishment. But certainly this season has been so special for me. I never thought I would play golf again when I retired in 2012. I was ready to bowl, sit on a soccer field, do whatever. I was not going to play golf. And I certainly wasn't going to teach. And an opportunity came along to take a position over at Old Marsh as their female teaching instructor. And I thought, oh, I don't know that I want to do this. I'm going to go say no. And when the job description, when, my director of golf was describing it, I'm like, this opportunity is never going to come along again. I better say yes. And I'm glad I did, because it's really what helped bring me back to competing. Because I'm like, well, if I'm going to teach, I need to remember what this feels like. So I'm going to start hitting some balls. And then I went back to the anniversary of the Courting Classic, which is the event that I won. It was their 100th anniversary, and Rosie Jones was there. And she really encouraged me to come back out on the Legends tour. And she's like, it's fun. It's fun. I'm like, okay, all right. I'm going to put on my big girl pants and I'm going to try this. And so I did. And so I think it's a lesson of never say never, because you just really don't know where the road is going to lead you. Because I never thought I would do this again. And I truly try to teach my students to get outside their comfort zone, think bigger. I'm like, well, if I'm going to say this, I need to practice this. So I've really learned a lot in this season of teaching that I've applied to my own game. And I've been super bold with my goals. And for 3 years, I've had Post-it notes on my mirror saying, why not you? You can do this, dream big. And, I put this year U.S. Senior Women's Open champion. And, you put those out there and you try and think big. And I didn't know if it would ever really happen, but it had gotten me 2 seconds so far. So I'm like, well, we're doing good. Let's just keep this mindset. So I do think that this is my greatest accomplishment career-wise. I'm excited for the next coming years. My golf ball doesn't know how old I am, so I'm going to keep chipping away at it and try and see if I can't bring this trophy, another time. We play in San Diego next year, where I'll be defending, and that's where I grew up. So that would be kind of a really cool story to win a second time there.
Yeah, that's that's one of those full circle moments. Do you am I allowed to know what's on the Post-it notes now? Or are you still trying to reconfigure what the new message is? Is it just to defend the title, or is there anything in between that you're shooting for right now?
Well, when you win the Senior Women's Open, you do get an exemption into the Big Girl Open. So the Women's Open, which will be played at Erin Hills in May. So my husband and I were talking about it yesterday or the day before, and he's like, listen, your game is still as good as it was, you know, when I left in 2012, if not maybe better, maybe mentally I'm better. He goes, you can play that golf course. I'm going to do a little research to see if there's any forced carries, because obviously length is a little bit of an issue. They hit it a lot further than I do, which is fine. I'm going to play my own game. It's just, you know, if there's any forced carries off the tee. So my goal is to maybe work on some speed training this off season to see if I can't get 5 or more yards. You know, that would put me a little closer to the green. You know, my goal is definitely to make the cut there at Erin Hills. And, you know, if not, maybe make a top 20 would be really cool. So why not? Maybe I should be bolder. Should I put win? My husband's like, that would be really cool if you could hold both trophies at the same time. That would be quite an accomplishment. And then obviously to defend my title. So, you know, I have some time to kind of think about that and process it and, you know, maybe adjust my goals, but that's sort of where I'm at right now.
Well, you know what? I'm inspired by that vision alone. I'll go get me a Post-it note and stick one on the mirror, and maybe I'll get something not as cool as that trophy, but something nice as well. Congratulations again, major champion. And again, we'll be rooting for you. And also, I know that your home club here where you teach, I'm sure they're, you know, just as proud as ever. Have y'all organized anything, or have you done anything maybe with some of the people you teach yet? Brought the trophy by to inspire them?
Well, the trophy's making the rounds. So I did stop by the gym and I did some squats with the trophy, which was pretty cool. It went over to a neighboring club that they allowed me an opportunity to practice there when Old Marsh was closed. And my season starts here November 1st when our membership is back. So I know that we'll do something big to celebrate. I'm really excited to share the trophy with them because, you know, they've watched me grow over the last 9 years and are a really big part of my story. And, you know, it took a lot of people to help me win this trophy. So I'm excited to share it with them. I know they're super proud. Text messages, emails. It took me all 16 hours of driving home from Pittsburgh to answer all the messages that were coming through. So we'll have a nice party in November, I'm sure.
Looking forward to it. Congratulations again, and thank you for the time, Leta.
Thank you so much.
It's Theo Dorsey. If you love that video, make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to get more just like that one. Also, don't get stuck paying for someone else's negligence. Lytle Ryder Smith, Ivy, and Fronrath has been representing injured people and their families for more than 3 decades. They can represent you. Check them out at foryourrights.com and don't get stuck paying for someone else's negligence.